Today, we're really getting into something huge happening online.
We are. It's all about search engines, how they're changing, and specifically how this wave of generative AI is starting to challenge, well, the giant in the room, Google.
Yeah, it feels like Google's been the top dog forever. So our mission here for you listening is to kind of unpack this shift.
Exactly. We want to figure out what it really means. What are the actual pros and cons of, traditional Google search versus these newer AI ways of finding things?
And what does it mean for how you find information, how you use it day to day?
Absolutely. Because Google, think about it. Over 20 years of dominance.
Since PageRank launched back in '98, which was just revolutionary at the time.
Completely. And now they have something like, over 90% of the mobile search market? It's massive.
It really is. You almost can't imagine the web without Google search sitting there.
It's become the default, hasn't it? The front door to the internet for so many people globally, just woven into how we do things online.
But that's the tension, right? This seemingly unbeatable giant is, well, actually facing a real fight now from AI.
It is. And we've looked at a whole stack of sources on this. It's fascinating stuff.
Seriously. Some of the ways AI is changing how we get answers and the knock-on effects. It's been pretty eye-opening. I think you'll have a few aha moments listening to this.
Definitely. Okay, so where should we start? Maybe with Google's history.
Yeah, let's lay that groundwork. How did they get so big? You mentioned PageRank.
Right. That was the game changer. Before that, search was more like directories, remember?
Yeah.
PageRank flipped that. It looked at links between websites as votes of confidence.
Kind of like a democracy of links. Yeah.
Exactly. But they didn't stop there, did they? They kept tweaking, improving,
Yes.
trying to understand user intent.
Oh, absolutely. Figuring out what you really mean when you type something in. And all those features they added.
Like answer boxes.
Yeah. And the people also ask. Bits. Featured snippets. All trying to give you the answer right there on the results page. Not just links.
Which, ironically, kind of trained us to expect what AI search is now offering, in a way. Quick, direct answers.
That's a good point. But Google's model, the ad-based one, it does have its downsides, doesn't it?
It does. Sometimes those ads really push the actual organic results way down the page. That can be frustrating.
Definitely. And then there are the other things people worry about privacy, with third-party cookies tracking you everywhere.
Right, that feeling of being constantly followed online, aggressive personalization,
Yeah.
and questions about algorithms maybe being tweaked for reasons other than just relevance.
Still, you can't deny the scale. What was that number? 8.5 billion searches?
A day. Over 8.5 billion. That volume gives them incredible insight into user behavior, just unparalleled amounts of data.
Plus, the interface is clean. We're all used to it. And those default deals.
Oh, yeah. Paying Apple, potentially $20 billion a year just to be the default in Safari? That's a massive moat.
Okay, so that's Google, the established power. Now let's talk about the challengers, these AI search tools, like ChatGPT search, Perplexity.
Exactly. Those are the kinds of names popping up. And their core idea is fundamentally different.
How so?
Instead of giving you a list of 10 blue links and saying, go figure it out, they try to synthesize the information for you. They give you a direct answer.
So less clicking around, potentially.
That's the promise. A shift from pointing you towards answers to actually giving you the answer.
That does sound like a pretty significant user experience upgrade, although does it maybe discourage exploring different viewpoints if you just get one answer?
That's a really important question, actually, the critical thinking aspect. But the immediate appeal is efficiency, right?
Sure.
They can handle more complex questions, questions with multiple parts. They give context. They can even suggest follow-ups. And it feels more conversational.
And you mentioned Perplexity doing something interesting with citations.
Yeah, that's a key feature for them. They provide these annotated summaries, and crucially, they show you where the information came from. You can click the citations, check the sources.
Okay, that addresses the transparency issue quite a bit.
It does. And they also let you do things like exclude certain websites from your results, say, if you don't want shopping links from Amazon cluttering things up. That's a level of user control we haven't really seen before.
That is different. Very compelling. So, is this it? Is Google finished? Are we looking at a complete AI takeover?
Well, probably not so fast. Not yet, anyway. And maybe not ever completely.
Why not? What are the limits of AI search right now?
Okay, think about needing information that's happening right now. Live sports scores, breaking news, minute-by-minute weather.
Yeah, AI might lag a bit there.
It often does. Traditional search is still much better for that real-time stuff. And what about when you just want to go to a specific website, like your bank's login page?
Right, a navigational query. You don't want an essay about banking, you just want the site.
Exactly. Google is way faster for that.
Yeah.
And location-specific stuff, too. Finding the nearest open pharmacy, for example. Google Maps integration gives it a huge edge there.
Okay, that makes sense. You need that immediate practical info sometimes, not a summary.
Precisely. And there's also the speed factor, even for generating summaries. AI takes a few seconds, right, to process and write it out.
It does, yeah.
Sometimes, when you just need a quick fact or link, that slight delay feels noticeable compared to Google's instant list.
So the future is more likely. AI plus traditional search. Augmentation, not replacement.
That seems like the most probable path forward, at least for a while, using the right tool for the job.
So how's Google playing this? They must be seeing this coming. They're not just sitting back, surely.
Oh, absolutely not. They're definitely responding. Look at their Gemini platform.
Their big AI model, right?
Exactly. It's designed to be their next generation AI, handling all sorts of inputs, text, images, audio, video, to give much richer, more contextual results.
And they have that data advantage you mentioned earlier.
A massive one. Their huge web index is perfect for training these sophisticated AI models. Scale is definitely on their side compared to most startups.
So we might end up in a world where, as users, we kind of switch between modes. Ask an AI for a complex explanation, but use Google for quick links or directions.
That feels very likely. Our search habits might just become more nuanced. We'll adapt based on the question we have.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. This must be causing waves in the world of SEO, search engine optimization, making websites show up higher in results.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
This is potentially disruptive for anyone creating online content or running a website.
How so? What's changing?
Well, traditional SEO often focused heavily on specific tactics. Things like keyword stuffing, repeating keywords over and over, or link building, getting lots of other sites to link to you.
Trying to game the algorithm, basically.
To some extent, yeah. But these AI search engines, they don't necessarily reward that stuff in the same way. They're looking for direct answers.
So they value the content itself more.
Exactly. Is it clear? Is it authoritative? Does it actually answer the user's question comprehensively and usefully? That's what matters for getting included in an AI-generated summary.
So if your key information is hidden behind confusing language or lots of fluff,
the AI might just skip right over it. The focus is shifting away from just pleasing the algorithm towards really satisfying the user's underlying intent.
that sounds like a good thing ultimately. Better content wins.
Hopefully. It means content needs to be structured well, easy for an AI to digest and extract information from. We might even see SEO evolve into making content AI readable.
Aligning with the AI's understanding to align with the user's need? Interesting. Okay, what about privacy? The whole cookie situation. How does AI search fit into that picture?
Right, the third-party cookie saga?
Yep.
It's definitely relevant. Google keeps delaying phasing them out in Chrome.
Mostly because of ad revenue concerns, right?
Largely, yes. Their privacy sandbox alternatives haven't fully replaced the capabilities of cookies yet, especially for things like remarketing, showing ads based on past browsing.
Meanwhile, other browsers like Safari and Firefox,
They've already blocked third-party cookies, so Google's a bit behind the curve there, trying to balance privacy demands with their ad business.
could that be an opening for AI search platforms?
It potentially could be. If these AI platforms rely less on tracking you across different websites with cookies and more on understanding the context of your current search query.
Or using first-party data stuff you directly tell the AI service.
Exactly. That might appeal to users who are more privacy conscious. Advertisers are definitely watching this space closely. Can AI deliver personalization without the intrusive tracking? That's the big question.
It feels like a potential weak spot for Google if the privacy winds keep blowing strong. And speaking of Google's position, that brings us to the antitrust stuff.
Yeah, the DOJ lawsuit against Google, that's shed a lot of light on how they maintain dominance.
Yeah.
Especially those default placement deals.
The Apple deal being the prime example.
Right. And what was really interesting was the testimony from Apple's Eddie Q during that trial.
What did he say?
He basically indicated that Apple expects AI platforms, he mentioned OpenAI, Perplexity, Anthropic, to become search options within Safari in the future.
Wow. Coming from Apple, Google's biggest search partner, that's huge.
It really is. It signals that even Apple, who profits immensely from the Google deal now, sees a future where Google isn't the only option on their devices.
So they're hedging their bets, maybe? Or just acknowledging reality?
Probably a bit of both. And Q backed it up with data too. He mentioned that Safari searches actually declined for the first time ever in April 2024.
Declined. Why?
He directly attributed it to the rise of people using AI search tools instead. That's a pretty concrete sign that user behavior is already shifting.
Okay, so pulling all these threads together, it sounds like AI isn't necessarily going to kill Google tomorrow,
No, probably not an overnight kill.
but it's a serious fundamental challenge that's going to change the whole search landscape for everyone.
That's really the heart of it.
Yeah.
AI search won't completely replace Google soon, but it will chip away at its market share. And maybe more importantly, it's going to fundamentally change what we as users expect from search.
So a blended future seems likely.
Very likely. Google integrating more AI, users getting comfortable using different tools, maybe Google for some things, Perplexity or ChatGPT for others, SEO adapting again.
Focusing on that user intent and making content AI friendly.
Right. And we can't forget the regulators. They'll continue to watch this space closely, especially around competition and data.
Ultimately, the goal for search engines, whether traditional or AI, seems to be getting much smarter.
Definitely. Understanding not just what you type, but why you're asking. Understanding intent, maybe even anticipating what you need before you ask.
This has been a fascinating deep dive. Really feels like we're at an inflection point for online information.
We absolutely are.
So the key takeaway for you listening, this isn't just hype. The search world is genuinely shifting because of AI, and that brings opportunities, challenges, the whole package.
And maybe something to think about after this. As these search tools get smarter, more conversational, how might your own information habits change?
Good question.
What kind of new questions might you start asking? And how will you judge the answers you get back in this world where AI is increasingly part of the mix? Definitely something to ponder.